So VII Foundation has an educational stream which involves 3 programs, which is VII Academy, which teaches courses on photojournalism and documentary photography. VII Insider, where we are now, which is a public-facing program to encourage debate and discussion and presentation of new work. And VII Community, which involves the alumni of VII Academy and Foundry Photojournalism Workshop and keeps them connected, engaged in continuing education, and we try to offer support as they develop careers in visual journalism. So today what we're doing as part of a regular series on VII Insider is presenting the work of 3 members of VII Community around the theme of the environment and climate, which of course is one of the most important themes. So each of Irene, Fatma, and Guerchom have done great stories that they're going to present and talk about so that we can see new work and discuss those issues. All of them are located remotely, so we're in all sorts of different time zones. So we're very grateful, particularly for Irene, who's up extremely late in the west of Indonesia. Fatma, as I said, is in Cairo, and Guerchom is in Kinshasa and Congo. And today is election day in Congo, so there is some potential interference with the Wi-Fi connections. And perhaps, Guerchom, first of all, before you share the story that you want to show us, tell us a little bit about your background coming into photography, photojournalism, documentary photography. When did you start, and what got you interested?
Okay, so usually I said basically I'm a filmmaker. So I started filmmaking in 2018, and because filmmaking is not easy. You need the team, and you can't tell more stories per year. That's bring me to the photography, to have that ability to tell more stories. And in 2020, I start like a professional photographer with the project Congo in Conversation, who is a project between the Carmignac Foundation and Finbar Aurelie, who is also the 11 winner of Prix Carmignac. Yeah. So during the project, I learned more about how to tell a story like a photojournalist. We was 12 photographers, so with support of other photographers, I learned more how to do stories.
Fantastic.
So that is the way I come in the photojournalism.
Yeah. And are you able to work full-time in filmmaking and photography? Is there sufficient work to support your career?
So between 2020 and 2022, I was full-time photographer just to bring high my way to do work, because in filmmaking I had the basic to do a story, but the photography was new for me, so I put all time to learn. Photography is that way to stop the time and to cut that time, and that is not easy to switch between. And I was in fiction, so to switch between fiction and reality sometimes is not easy. So I take time to learn and stay in photography. But in this year, I come back to the filmmaking, but in the documentary way. So I stopped to do fiction, and I do documentary now.
Fantastic.
I mix both.
Great. So the story you're going to share with us is called Our Forests, I think. Tell us a little bit about that story and that work that you've been doing? And you can share your screen and start to show us.
Yeah, so I start the story, our forest. Normally, basically, it was not a story about forest. It was a little story about my community. I grew up in a town and we are using charcoal. We are call it here Makala.
Right.
So we use charcoal for cooking, for all fire. That's the only way we had in that time, because in DRC electricity is still a big challenge. So my story was how people cook with the charcoal.
Right.
But when I start to get in the story, I learn like it's not only about to cook, but in the background there are many problems, many issues. And the big issues was because all tree to make makala come from the park. So, and uh, in the eastern part of the country is we have war many times. So, and that's makala was have been making by armed groups. So, and on this time I was like, that is a big challenge. Is not like about to cook, but is a big traffic, and is not only an environmental issues, is economic, social, and environmental. And in that time, I was like, I can't tell that story like make an investigation who do what. And for me, I would like to do this story like a part of the community,
Right.
and I will tell the community part of the story, not traffic. Uh, and yeah, there are not group only who do that, but for a long time also people around park, people around forests start to do it because they make money. In DRC in 2020 and 2021 was something about 53 million per year, the business of Makala.
So
So
this charcoal or
yeah,
makala is a really significant resource, and armed groups in the east are producing it, but people in the forests are also trying to produce their own so that they don't rely
yeah,
on the supplies from the east. Is that?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I start that story, and the first question was why uh, why the community can go in the forest and do makala, because they know it's not good stuff, and why they have to do that. And in the first time, I understand like in southern Kivu, they are doing palm oil, and all palm oil plantation are near the park. So they are doing palm oil, and the problem is when they are doing palm oil. Oh, sorry. When they are doing palm oil, they are put oil in the ground. The shape
Right.
the ground. So that deter also the ground. So they can't make agriculture in this ground because it's very poor. And that's why they are going until they start capturing in the park. And yeah, is also a social issues and economic, because we don't have other alternative. There are no other work to do. And yeah, the only way to survive is to make that business.
So
So, and yeah.
tell us a little bit about some of the details of the images that you're showing. Where are these from? Are these from Kivu? These are people obviously involved in the making of the charcoal or makala.
Yeah, this picture was taken in Bukavu city. That is in eastern part of the country, And this lady, she tried to get so he tried to make this cage very empty, so he can sell the last while in that box.
Right.
And yeah, and this next picture is in Kahuzi-Biega National Park. So Kahuzi-Biega National Park have another challenge. Is not only about forest and community, but also the limit of the park. When they create the park, they make a mistake about limits, and they take also local communities field.
Are they permitted to make the charcoal in the park, or is that prohibited?
So for the park, this part is in the park, and for
Right.
the communities, this part is her land.
Right. So
So
it's contested what's in the park and what isn't.
yeah, so it's a big challenger between
Right.
the park and the community, and sometimes they are fighting each other. So yeah, they are. So also in the eastern part, we are using the tree to build a house
Right.
for the normal person, the class moyenne. So people, they are also using the tree in the park to build house, and they are sell all of this to all communities. And this is the person in the community who is, so is pygmy, the pygmy community that is indigenous
Yes.
in this area. And they are, so when I talk about the story between limits, they said it's her land, and the park said is the park. So now sometimes they don't have where to live, because the park come and bring them out of the park.
Right.
And sometimes also go back to the park and say it's our land, and they're fighting the ranger. So there are many problems between the park and community.
Yeah.
And this picture, I was also in Bukavu. In this time, 400 houses have been banned. Was an electricity issues, but
Right.
all of them use planche to build a house. So there are two kind of community who build in matériaux durables, and another community just who use planche.
Right.
And yeah, this is the forests in that part in Kahuzi-Biega,
Is
and yeah, this
so
is the community.
this is a site of charcoal or makala production.
Yeah, yeah.
So it obviously has a pretty negative impact on the environment. Is that correct?
Yes. So the first negative impact is, the DRC have a big forest, and that forest help the world to reduce and slow down the climate change.
Right.
But when people cut all trees, that start to be a problem. And when they are making makala, they are cut trees, and they are do it in open space, so that how can I say it? That open all carbons out again to the atmosphere. So
So there's a double impact on the environment
yeah,
of
yeah,
first of all, deforestation, cutting the trees down, and then secondly, actually burning the charcoal itself.
yeah.
Yeah. But I imagine that this is one of the major sources of energy for the people living in and around the park and Bukavu and so on. This is fuel that's necessary for cooking and heating. Would that be correct?
Yes. because we don't have other alternative. We just have a makala for cooking.
Right.
Yeah.
Are people talking about developing any alternatives?
So in Goma, yes. So in Goma, so let me go. This is near the Virunga National Park, and people making also makala. But the park in Virunga, they are start to make also electricity to main city near the park. So that can reduce the need of makala.
Right.
So people make makala, and here also. So normally here is the full of makala, this one, and is something about 7 big tree. But for the resultant, that will get only two sack of makala, and that is something like in that time was something like $40. So
Right.
was not high rate business.
But it takes seven trees to
Yeah,
produce 2 sacks, and that only produces $40.
yeah.
Wow.
So this is the kind of sack they are making,
Right.
and this is the transport. So we don't have also big way to transport that, so we use people to transport the makala. So
Yeah.
they have been working 5 hours to come in this market.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so after that, people come and buy little bit, just for the little business in near the city and in the city.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is the way we are cooking with. And yeah, it's for normal person, the no rich, just class moyenne. So
Yeah.
I don't have other alternative for that. That is the big challenge.
Yeah.
And this is the transport again. The roads are bad.
Yeah.
And motorcycle you can put it 6 sack. That is very, very challenging.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah. Very
easy.
risky. Yeah.
Yeah, very risky also. Yeah. So have said there are a problem between park and communities. And in Virunga National Park, the big challenge is also armed groups. So sometimes people lost her life doing this work.
Yeah.
And in this time was Eric was a ranger in Virunga National Park, and they had ambuscade, and she died. But he had a family, had children, but yeah, he lost his life just to protect the
Yeah.
park.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the story.
Yeah. It's an incredible story, Guerchom, because you're bringing together conflict, economy, environment, climate change, energy. All these things are very connected. I think that's extremely interesting and very strong. The final question I want to ask you is, for the moment, is have you been able to publish or circulate this work? Is this story out there in the world, or what are your plans for making the story published or available?
So the story was publishing by the Congo Conversation Project.
Yep.
And I make a tour exhibition. The first one was in Paris, and I make also 4 exhibition in the country here in DRC, in 4 cities. So 4 cities, yeah. So I start in my town. So I'm based in Goma normally, not in Kinshasa.
Right.
I'm just here for work. And yeah, I started the exhibition in Goma because we are near the park. We are near Virunga National Park.
Yeah.
After that, I bring it in Beni. There is also another city near the park, and with a big army group and terrorists challenged. And I bring it in Bukavu. Bukavu is near also Kahuzi-Biega National Park and Lubumbashi.
Yeah.
Why I bring it the exhibition near the community? Because for me, is not only about cutting trees, is economic challenger. So,
yeah.
And if is economic and social challenger, that cannot be solved by just sensibility, make people stop cutting, making makala.
Yeah.
But for me was to give them other alternative. If is a problem of energy, just bring that problem to the politic and to say just, hey, you can bring electricity, you can bring other alternative to the energy to solve this problem.
Yeah.
So during exhibition, I try to call a politician, community leader, just to see the way this is a big challenger.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they can again discuss about the problem.
Yeah. Well, excellent, Guerchom. Thank you very much. And I very much like that idea that you're showing in the community and connecting to the community and really taking the story in there as a way of provoking kind of debate and response about those things. We'll move on to, we'll come back to you with questions at the end, so stick around. Irene, why don't you share your screen and tell us a little bit about yourself. You're a documentary photographer, independent, freelance, based in Jakarta normally. Tell us a little bit about how you got into photography and what your major goals are, and then tell us a little bit about this story.
Okay. Well, I started photography. Well, I have my bachelor's in journalism, and then there I learned about photography was introduced in one of the subjects and the major, and I think at that moment I finally found that I think this is like the things that I want to do. So I started to learn about it, and I started to find workshops outside the subjects, and then I finally decided to continue study photography. And then I came back home in Indonesia in 2014, I think. Yeah. And then I kind of feel confused. I don't know what to do. Like, I have all this major, but I didn't know how to break into the industry or started working. So I just started traveling, and then I do basically any kinds of photography on the side to support my traveling. But then I do that for a couple of years until I joined a workshop with John Steinmeier, and then I think at that moment I finally learned how to produce a story,
Right.
a document story.
Right.
And then after that I just started to do the practice over and over again, and then start to not traveling but do a story, a photo story for the story itself.
Yeah.
Not for the traveling part.
Yeah. We should explain that Irene has to be located in a partly public place, so you will hear some Indonesian motorcycles going past in the background. This is just part of our authentic presentation, so that's all fine. We're very grateful that you're staying up to present. tell us a little bit about, share your screen and tell us a little bit about this story. It's called Land of the Sea. What's the overall theme and topic, and what were you trying to do with the story?
So yeah, Indonesia is one of the countries hardest hit by climate change, and according to the Central's report, around 23 million of coastal residents in Indonesia are at risk of annual sea flooding. And this is a map of Java Island, which is one of the biggest island in Indonesia and one of the most densely populated. And this is a map of a land that's projected to be below sea level in 2050. So if you see all those red zones, those are the areas that are projected to be inundated.
Wow.
Knowing all these facts and numbers make me wonder and curious, really, is this really the future of us? So, and what's happening to those area that's supposed to be inundated?
Yeah.
So, I set out a project, and what I found is really quite shocking.
So these are people's houses that are already being inundated?
Yeah. So, well, in Indonesia and the northern part of Java, well, climate change is not a mere future anymore. It's already happening.
Yeah.
So I started my journey in Gresik, which is an industrial region in East Java. Gresik is quite popular for as the biggest milkfish producers in Indonesia, but abrasion comes to be a major problem in here. So around 100 hectares of milkfish embankment has already lost to the ocean. And in this image, actually, a group of farmers are doing an early harvest, because when the water is high, it will like overflow the embankment, so the fish will pour out into the ocean. So they
Right.
do this to prevent losses, even though it means like a smaller catch and smaller income.
Yeah.
And then I met this woman, which her name is Ibu Siti. Well, she faces sea water flooding every day in her house. She lives in a fishing village next to the ocean, so it's very severe in that area. And you can see that the ground of her house is already covered in tarp, because it's always wet in her house.
Right.
And she wants to move so badly because the living condition is not healthy and unsafe anymore, but no one wants to buy her house, and she has no money to move.
Yeah. And
And
there's no community assistance, any government programs to help with this?
no,
None. Wow.
not at the moment.
Yeah.
And in Demak, which is in central Java, the city encounters sea floodings first in around 1980. So the coastline has already protruded 5 kilometers inland. And what happened in this area is the seawater usually comes only during high tide, but after a while it will permanently lingers in those areas.
Yeah.
So here specifically, like back in 1960, the land was very fertile, where the residents could grow like corn, and then rice and chili and nuts and everything. But now it's all already covered in seawater.
So they lose their homes, but they also lose their chance to make a living. They lose their economy
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. That's right.
And yet they're still trying to live there because they have nowhere else to go and cannot afford to leave.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And this is the bridge. If you can see the wooden and bamboo bridge, that's the community. They like chip all the money together, and they built the bridges that finally connects all the village together,
Right.
because before it was just like water, and they
Yeah.
have to, well, when they want to go out to work, they have to bring in like dry clothes because it will absolutely get wet.
Yeah.
And still in the muck, there's an entire coastal village has to, they evacuated the coastal village, the whole village, uh, because seawater intrusion. They move it to a higher ground that's now already get like annual sea flooding too. But this family, they are the only family who still live in that village,
Right.
because they feel if they move out, no one will remember their village anymore, and they have like a deep connection to their village. So this is Pasija, which is uh, the only women who still live there. And even though it's already submerged, they still have electricity, but they
Really?
didn't have,
Wow.
yeah, but they didn't have any clean water supply.
Right. Right.
So every twice a week, she has to visit the neighboring village with a boat. Like it's only like a 15-minute boat ride to get like clean water supplies, like food supplies, and also gas for the boat. So despite of having like cars or motorcycles, like everyone in Indonesia, they have like each of the family members have their own boat.
Yeah. So
And
they're making adaptations to survive as the seawater rises.
yes,
Yeah.
and this is Pasija's husband, uh, who is fishing in the submerged milkfish embankment.
Right.
And then when they get the fish, some of the fish they will eat it, and some they will like sell it in the market. And I also met women fisher women in the map, and she goes out to the sea with her husband, and she said that there's less and less fish in the ocean now,
Right.
so they have to like go further into the ocean, and the seawater haven't impacted into their area, but this is the access to go in or out their village.
Wow. And presumably this level of water just continues to rise year by year.
Yeah, so usually they have to go in or out their village. They they modified this paddy cap, because like it will get rusty, and the motorcycle will broke once every a couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna continue. And I met Fina in Pekalongan. Pekalongan is popular for batik industry, and she is a batik artisan. She and her husband owns a small batik workshop at the back of their house. And when I met her the first time, I could see that her house is badly impacted by the seawater, and the ground level of her house is not even. Some are like higher, some are like lower, and there's even like a puddle of water at the workshop. And then when I decided to continue the story, I go back to her family throughout the years, and I can see that the condition is worsens. So they stopped the batik production completely, and because the money that they have to like renovate the house over and over again, so they couldn't restart the business. And then she now shifted jobs and sell like snacks in front of the school that where she teaches. And then she said that she has to sell the batik stamp, which is the only valuable thing that the family has, to pay for her kids' school fee.
Right. So I think one of the things that's interesting about your story, it connects with kind of the theme in Guerchom's story as well, is the way in which changes in the environment, climate change, is linked to economic activity and impacting people's lives. So these issues are all connected together.
Yeah. And this is too in northern Pekalongan, where like the seawater has completely besieged the whole village.
Yeah.
There used to be around 70 families who live in this area. But now, yeah, this is the only family who still live there.
Yeah. So Irene, my final question to you for the moment is same as the one to Guerchom. Have you been able to publish this work? How is this work circulating? Is it getting out into the community?
This work has been exhibited in a couple of festivals,
Yep.
like Jakarta Photo International Festival, and it was in Bucharest Photo Festival too. And this work has shortlisted for the Leica Oscar Barnack Awards.
Nice.
And Marilyn Stafford photo document. For publishing, there's only one publication, I think, One World, which is based in Netherlands.
Right.
I'm still planning to continue the story and expand it to outside Indonesia.
Yeah.
And no, outside Indonesia, I mean outside Java.
Right.
And planning to build a website, an interactive website. Well, it has all this like images and video and stories from the community, or maybe opening up to an opportunity to collaborate with the community. So like all of this information gets more spread out towards the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's great. Thank you very much for that. If you stop screen sharing, let's go to Fatma, who's in Cairo. And Fatma, you're going to share a story called The Lost Lake. But as with the others, tell us a little bit about your background and how you came into photography and how you came to do this story.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for this chance to be with us and with VII Community. My name is Fatma Fahmy. I was born in Saudi Arabia, and I graduated from chemical engineering in Cairo University. and my background is engineering, and already I started my career in photography, like street photography in 2017, and I get interested in the documentary in 2019, and I had a workshop. After that, I have like a first personal project to publish in Paris. And from this moment, I need like to learn more about documentary and photojournalism. I received the grant to study photography and market photo workshop to study documentary and photojournalism like 1 year. In 2020, after I back to Egypt in 2021, I started the freelance and contributed with Reuters agency in Egypt. Yeah, this is but before like a photography, I working as a chemical engineer, and
Fantastic.
now I left my career. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And so tell us share your screen and tell us a little bit about this story, the Lost Lake. What's the general theme, and
Okay,
what are you trying to do with the story?
Okay, just I will like show the map to the people, introduce where the lake and what I'm speaking about. This is the Lake Faroon in the south east of Cairo, and it is the third biggest lake in Egypt. And it is from historical and pharaonic era, and all of the lake is contaminated by Nile River before, but after we have high dam in Aswan in south of Egypt. There's no any water coming. I will show you the water is coming from Nile River from here to until like to cover this lake. But now there's no any water is connected to this lake now because a lot of architecture area and all of the water is coming from industrial or some of architecture wastewater is not cleaning and some houses for this village is dumping all of the water to lake. And now lake is getting pollution, and also the climate change affected it because a lot of this area is very hot, and we have a lot of evaporation happen. Just I would like to go to the
So just to be
more.
clear on that map to start with, the water is the darkest area that looks black, and the green areas are not water, but they're probably agriculture.
This is the village near from the lake already. Yeah.
Because when you see the Nile, you can see that the water is actually a very small portion of that green area.
Yeah. Okay. I will stop and show the picture.
Yeah. Excellent.
Okay. Now I'm speaking about one village stay in the Lake Karun is Albert Sulaiman. It is near from the lake, and all of the community is working as a fisherman. This guy is Derbala. I spent time with him. This guy, because when the Lake Karun is a lot of pollution happen, a lot of people displacement to Aswan, like when I showed the map in the South for Nile. A lot of people is traveling to Aswan, and some of them stay between Aswan and Fayoum. And now with the lake, we didn't have, like when you see the picture, a lot of architecture, water is not cleaning, it's dumping for the lake without any treatment. And we can find only one fish in this lake now, is the sardine. When you sell it, is like is less than $1. And because no any fish we can stay in the lake because it's a lot of salty now. The lake is more than the sea. And a lot of the people in the summer, we coming to the lake to swimming because it's like a treatment and we didn't have any place to go. And a lot of time the fisherman is fishing at night because the sardine is not appearance at morning than like a night. I spend like more day with the people when they go fishing, and some of women we help like we help further because a lot of this lake is salty now. A lot of salt is contaminated on the boat, and we try to remove it you can make a balance in the lake. And they spend a lot of time in this lake until the wind stop or it's bending. This is the village, the area, and all of this boat is now not working. We have before like 100 or more boat is working, now it's like 10 or something. And this is like when you see the pipe and the people swimming with not any caring for what happened in the area. Yeah, and a lot of women in 2014 we had accident happen in this area when the people traveling to Aswan. A lot of like 13 people died in accident, and this woman we show it like is her husband and son is already died in this time, and she didn't have any support from government or cannot working anymore.
What was the accident that happened?
Yeah, it's like when they travel into Aswan in south of Egypt by like a microbus and some
Right.
they have had accident in the street because they travel every 3 months to Aswan to like
Right.
working as a fishing, and after that they back to Fayoum.
And they're traveling to Aswan to work in the fishing because the water in this lake has become too salty.
Yeah. And like sometime the travel like by bus like take 1 day, and we cannot like travel every day. We stay in Aswan, and sleeping there already, and stay like 3 months, and they back to our family.
Yeah. What sort of interaction have you had with members of the community in the village and town around the lake? How have they responded to you coming to tell the story?
Okay, I make a research for this from 2017 when I started the photography, and I'm trying to have like a connection with the people before I go to shooting. It's first time the people is not like allow me to go inside because I'm not from this area.
Yeah.
Because a lot of media is speaking about this problem, but without not any support. But after that, like I started this project in 2022 to take a picture.
Right.
And after like 3 months with them, we promise like I promise I'm trying to have something for them and help them to your voice to be the community in the world, and make something for them. And they already trust me because we feeling I need to do something for them, and just like I still keep working in the project.
Yeah, excellent. And as I asked Guerchom and Irene, have you published this? Has it been exhibited? Is it circulating? And what are your plans to develop and put this story out into the world?
Okay, yeah, I exhibited for, I get already shortlisted in Sony World and Environment category, and I exhibited for like in festival, like 2 or 3 festival in Jordan and in Europe. But still, this project is not for publish now because still I'm still working. I need like I apply for the grant to complete the part for Aswan because I need to travel with them to Aswan and focus more about what happened for them and to the people. Some people is displacement to Aswan, not back to Fayoum. I just like to cover them. This I cannot like publish until now when we finish. I think I'm working for 1 year again with the 7 mentor, and after that I will publish.
Excellent. Excellent. I mean, it's another great story, and again, showing the connection between environment, climate, economy, and people's livelihoods in these places, how these things are all connected. We have a few minutes left, so if people in the audience wish to ask a question, please drop it into the Q&A box and I'll pose it to our presenters. Irene, there's actually a question for you from Damien. He would like to know, how long have you been working on your story, and how often do you visit the places that you have photographed on the coast of Java?
I started the project in 2020, so going on 3 years now. And I try to go back every year to find a new places. And well, in Pekalongan especially, I go back three, 3 times now because I feel it's important, and when you're on the field, like another story came up and another interesting important story, and you met another person that's you think that has an important story to tell. So
Yeah.
in some places I go back and forth, but in some places I just visit them one time.
Right. Right. So a question that I would like to ask each of you is, and Fatma, I'll start with you. What would be the one thing that would help you most in being able to complete the story? What would be the one thing that you really need to complete your story?
I think for me, like just I'm trying to find fund, because without the fund we cannot like complete it, and mentor also is too supported, because we spend a lot of time with the people, and we need to travel from area to different area, and
Yeah.
this sometimes is complicated because we working like a freelance. Yeah, I think the fund will help me
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
complete it.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. Guerchom, I don't know if you're are you still with us? Is your connection still working? Can you hear us?
Yes,
Yes.
I'm here.
Excellent. What would be the one thing that would help you most complete your story?
For me, so I'm in the next stage of my project. Is not so I extend the project, and now is about local communities and natural resource and environment. So the big support, the first one is mentorship. I didn't get normal cases of photojournalism, so the mentorship is my only way to learn more and to push high all story I make. And yeah, I asked for some grant just to support field work. So yeah, that will be the second one. Just have that possibility to travel and make stories.
Yeah. Irene, there's a question for you from Vincent. Do the floods in Java take place only in some seasons, or are the floods, I mean, presumably the rising sea level, is that permanent all year long now?
It depends on the places. Some places the flood just stays there all year long. It gets higher during high tide, but when it's decreases, it just stays there. But at some places where it's not badly impacted, they come only during high tide and they go.
Yeah. So the final question, and again, going to ask each of you this same question. It comes from Asma in the audience. What would be your tip? And I'm going to say, what would be your most important tip, or the single most important tip you would give someone who is beginning on their work or career to do photo documentary? From the experience you've had doing these stories, what would you advise other people who are just starting out? Irene, do you want to start?
Just go out and start photographing the story that you want to do, I think, and build a portfolio of that, and just keep trying and take just don't give up, because you like, if I learn something from the industry, I think it's about to have those thick skins.
Yeah, thick skin, yes. Yes.
So never take no for an answer, just like keep trying and keep pushing.
Yeah, excellent. Fatma, what would you say to Asma as a single tip for someone beginning?
Yeah, I agree with Irene about the project, about we go and shooting what you're feeling, at what you're interested in, not something that people not because like to be famous or something, you must something to be in your heart.
Yeah.
And the tips like to keep working and make a portfolio and go to workshop and try to show up and portfolio and meet a people and go everywhere we're running, because we have a lot of opportunity now around the world that is open up. I do not like to be, if not to get rejected, to stop the photography. You must to keep it, because we got a lot of email rejected, but still because we believe and we have something in your heart, we need to do that, because not just for you only, for the community, to help the people.
Yeah.
That's the tip. Like we need like a lot of press and we go.
Yeah. Same as Irene. Thick skin, be persistent.
Yeah.
Keep going regardless. Guerchom, last word to you. What would you advise someone who's just beginning out doing photo documentary work, given what you've learnt in the process?
So for me to end, for all of colleagues said, is also try to show your work the maximum possible you can. So in the portfolio review, workshop, meeting, that help when you have feedback to your work, that help you to go, to push up and to build your, how can I say, networking. So people can see your work and sometimes they can remember, I have seen a work for Jakarta, so I know someone in that place, and they can call you in that way for a walk or just for something to talk about your project. So yeah, to show the work is the big way also to build the networking. And use Instagram is a good way also to show the work.
Right. So yeah, I think really good tips there. So that brings us to the end of our time. I really want to thank Fatma, Irene, and Guerchom for being with us from locations far and wide. Some lots of very positive comments in the chat. I mean, people have really appreciated your stories. I think they're all extremely strong as stories, most importantly. They're visually strong, but you're reporting on and documenting significant issues that have so many dimensions that are connecting together and impacting communities. And I think that's the strength of them. So it's been fantastic to see them. Thank you very much for sharing them with us. And through VII Community, we look forward to staying in touch and working with you and supporting you as best as possible in the months and years ahead. So thank you, Irene. Thank you, Fatma. Thank you, Guerchom. And thank you to everyone in the audience for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks. We'll see you later.
See you later.
Bye.